All right, everybody, we got Coach Gibson with us. We will have Coach open with a statement, then we'll get with questions.
First off, happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for you guys, what you do, and covering our program, our kids, promoting Marshall. So thank you all for that. Going back with the game last week, obviously it was a game of missed opportunities. And one thing we did different this week on Sunday, I made every coach put 2 good plays, 2 bad plays for their position group, get up in front of the team and talk about it. Because what we don't need is your fault because you fumbled on the last drive, or it's your fault because you fumbled the second to last drive. It's your fault you gave up a touchdown on defense. That was a team loss. Players, coaches, we're all responsible. We all got to get better. We all got to fix it. So did that for a reason that, number one, you don't ever want to splinter your team, offense versus defense, whatever it may be. And I didn't sense any of that was happening. But I wanted to make it clear that if any of us, play callers, position coaches, players, do one thing different, one call may be different, make one more play, don't make a bad play, we win the game. And it's a small margin of error in college football right now. And, it seems like we keep ending up on the wrong side of it. So, but what I really like is our kids bounced back, had 2 good practices, and we're playing for these seniors this week to extend this season. And, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge. We're playing a good football team that has skilled players on offense, big up front on defense. So we're going to have our hands full.
Questions?
Coach, having said that, you guys, it's tantalizingly close to being 8-3 or whatever. How do you kind of impart that to the kids that, hey, it is just one play? It's not that you guys are, we lost a game in the fourth.
Yeah.
Can you do that, or how's that?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I tell them. We sit in here and we watch it. Here's what went wrong. Here's what we could have done differently. And, other than Georgia, we've been in every football game. I mean, we had a top 25 team out here on the ropes with 4 minutes to go in the game. We have the ball at midfield. So we score right there and win that game. It changes. But we've lost 3 football games this year with a total of 6 points. So now, is that bad coaching? Is that bad playing? Is that bad? Nah, maybe a little bit of everything. But those are all things that we have to get fixed. And, what everybody needs to remember, and I need to remember at times, their coaches get paid. Their players are good players. They get scholarships. And, I know people, they say things and think I'm not very smart and our players aren't very good. But the reality is everybody else has good players and good coaches as well. So, that's part of the game.
Coach, looking at this week, of course, needing a win to go to a bowl game, the emotions are high for this game. How do you keep everyone just focused at the game? With the game, the emotions can be high because your season's on the line on Saturday.
Yeah, well, we're going to approach it. I don't know if our season to extend it's on the line. And what we have to do, and I tell my guys this, they have to be the best you. Carlos has to be the best him. Joe Sean needs to be the best him. Cam Smith needs to be the best him. And just do your best. Don't worry about winning right now. Let's worry about getting you as good as we can get you for Saturday. And if we do that collectively as a team, then we'll be okay. We'll like the result. So that's how we're approaching. I'm not putting pressure on them as a football team because they don't need that pressure. There's enough pressure in their lives right now. What I need them to do is play the best that they can. And that's how we're going to approach that this week.
What do you see from them on offense? Maybe stands out to you.
Yeah, but their quarterback, when he gets in a rhythm, he's really, really good. He can throw it. He could extend plays, keeps plays alive. They have 2 really good wideouts, 4 and 5, or they're big kids that go up over guys and catch it. They run well. Then their back's good. 22, he wore 0 last week. Don't know the story behind that, but. And then their slot receiver, number 1, has been there for a while that makes plays. So they have playmakers. They score points. They beat teams really bad that have beat us, and teams that we beat, they got beat by. So they're experienced. Their quarterback is a guy that has been there with a couple of those wideouts, and that they can hurt you, and in a lot of different ways, running it, throwing it. So we have to be prepared for all of it.
Sort of a different rivalry as well. I know it's not like App State, a lot more history, but Marshall, Georgia Southern those years in the Southern Conference. So there's a lot of history between these two, maybe in a more of a condensed period.
Yeah, no doubt. And I told our guys that as well. I mean, they played some meaningful games back in the Southern Conference, just like against App. I mean, really, when you think of the Southern Conference, not to disrespect anybody else that was in it, but Marshall, Georgia Southern, and App, that's who you knew was coming out of the Southern Conference. I mean, one of those three teams were, for years, the teams. But, it's a great program. Probably the worst beating I've ever taken on a football field was at Georgia Southern my senior year when I was at Glenville. We had the bright idea to go play them right before our playoff run, and that was, I think, game 10 or 11 for us. It was bad. I think they broke a rushing record down there at Georgia Southern. So, and then I've coached against them one other time. So we kind of got them back that time. So.
You mentioned you're playing for the seniors on Saturday. Talk about what this senior class, the ones that maybe have stayed at Marshall, the ones you brought along, what they've meant to you in getting you through your first season.
Yeah, well, here's the good part about these seniors is I've been with them all the same. The guys that stayed, I didn't get here till December, and they were already gone on break, most of them. So, really in January is when all these seniors came together, and it was about, my first class of seniors being the head coach here. But they're a special group. And a lot of guys that have been other places that have came here, and they all have a story. And one thing that we do that's pretty unique in fall camp, seniors get up right here in front of the team and they tell their story, whatever they want to talk about. And some of the journeys that these guys have been on, some of the sacrifice that they've given up to, and to be here, and people in their lives and things that have affected those guys. And it's all personal stuff. I mean, some guys get emotional. Some guys get up and laugh, but, so when you do that and you pour yourself out in front of your teammates and you go all in, I mean, it's special. And I hate it right now that so many guys have came in here from other places and maybe have walked to senior day at another school and come in here, but it's still, when you play your last one, it's different. And I know Saturday for these guys, it's going to be emotional for some of them because some of them, this is the last snap they're ever going to play. Whether it's here or a bowl game, but this is it for them. And, some will have maybe an opportunity to go play somewhere else, but, so it's a lifelong work for those guys to get to this point. And, I want to make sure that everybody else around them does their part to help them get what they want going out, because this is the one you're going to remember the most. This is the one.
Coach, if you get to that bowl game and get eligible, obviously that's 15 more practices and you guys get to hang together. And I mean, that's, in this day and time, maybe that's something that we kind of took for granted back in the day, but nowadays it's important to try to play that extra one.
Very important, and I'm so glad that the NCAA moved the portal window and it does not open until January 2nd. So teams that are bowl eligible, you get to keep your team together, practice, go play. And, there may be guys that bail out on you that think that their NFL career is more important and all that. In some cases it is. And some guys are delusional and they need to stay and play and finish with their team. But, I know our kids are looking forward to Saturday, and we can't look any further than that, but we know what the opportunity may be if we can win this game and get ourselves bowl eligible and be able to go play another one would be awesome.
I know at the beginning of fall camp you talk a lot about it's kind of the best time of year to be a coach because you get no classes and all that. Is this week a little bit similar to that, especially when you're trying to instill a lot of confidence in guys that have as much time with them as you can?
Yeah, I think this is a great week. Even growing up and you go outside this time of year and play football. I mean, there's turkey bowls all over the place. There's just different things, a lot of football on TV. And, so it's special. It's a special time. I mean, this is fall football season right now. And, I think this is the best time of the year to be in college football. And I know our kids like this week a lot better. You know, we're a morning practice team, so they got to sleep in today, came in a little later, so had a little more energy. So it was good, but hopefully this extra rest will help them this week.
How does Tony Gibson celebrate Thanksgiving?
I'll be here early in the morning for practice. I do get to go shoot the gun at the marathon. I'm the starter this year at the turkey run or whatever it may be at Ritter Park, so I'm going to do that. And then come over here and practice with the guys, and then go spend it with my family. My wife will cook, have some family in, so it'd be good.
You help cook at all?
No.
One thing you mentioned yesterday, Coach, about Carlos, and he was practicing Sunday. So tell us about his status and how he's doing.
Yeah, he's good to go. You know, I think he banged his knee on the turf. You know, unfortunately, at the time, I think he thought he was hurt, maybe worse than what he really was. And but the great news on Sunday morning when I came in here, and he's ready to roll, and had a good day Sunday, had a really good day today. So, you know, Carlos is tough. I mean, he's a tough guy, and you know, we'll look forward to getting him out here one more time on this grass.
And when he went out, that was a critical time. Did that affect whether you decided to go for it or?
Yeah, I was going for it. And I asked Coach Smith on the headset, I said, hey, you got a fourth down play ready? He said, Carlos is hurt, and he's limping out there, and we sent the field goal team out. So, you know, I wish I would have called a timeout maybe and thought about it a little longer, but again, in that moment, our defense had finally settled in. We were playing well. And, you know, what's unfortunate is they block it, get the momentum, and then we get the momentum right back because we stop them 3 and out. And, but, you know, and other things too play in these decisions. You know, you take points, you know, so you don't have to chase later. You get a 4-point lead. I know that you're still within a field goal if they do score a touchdown, so that played a little part in it. And then you go back to, hey, last week we went for it on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and we had to at that point, but we didn't get it. And we know people are going to sell out against the run. And with Carlos not being out there, that's a lot of pressure on our backs because now every guy's going straight to the running back. And, you know, do I have guts enough to call play action? I don't know. Not in that situation, but you know, so it's, again, I beat myself up over it for 2-3 days, but that's what went in the decision. I was going to go for it, and Carlos got hurt, and I ran Lorcan out. So that's that was the decision I made. I'm sticking with it and go from there.
I wanted to ask you about some of the stuff they do with their motions on offense. I feel like a lot of coaches I've heard talk about how important, like, keeping your eyes level with them because they'll motion a guy into a block or maybe motion a guy out into a block on a screen. I think I saw them do at one point.
Yeah, they do a lot of it. They do orbit motion, jet motions, what we call yo-yo motions. They'll see what you're in, and they motion their backs out a lot for screen. So they motion their tight ends into the core to run the ball, out of the core to throw the ball to be blockers. So set up screening goes off of it. So they do some really good stuff. And, you know, with the way football is right now, everybody's doing very similar things right now with moving guys and motion and shifting. And, you know, it's turned into, I mean, there's 5 wides to, you know, 4 tight ends in game, shifting out. I mean, so you got to prepare for everything every week.
Similar to anything that Georgia Southern does on defense that kind of, you know, sets them apart from anybody else, or is there something maybe that they're doing to have success?
Well, you know, they're very big up front. They play an odd front, a lot of 3 down, so very similar to us and some other teams in our league. I think they got a couple really nice corners. I like their corners. They do a good job. But they're aggressive. I mean, they'll be aggressive at times. And again, everybody in this league is very similar to what they're doing defensively. You know, whether it's 4 down, 3 down, but everybody ends up kind of doing the same things. And it's the appearance of, okay, we got 4 D linemen, but what are they doing coverage-wise? Or we got 3 D linemen and we're stemming the 4th guy up or blitzing the 4th guy to get to a 4 down front. So, yeah, football is it's a copycat game right now, and everybody's very similar and doing some of the same stuff. So
Anything further for Coach?
Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate you guys. Have a good Thanksgiving.